Dr. Manmohan Singh died last night at AIIMS in the national capital. One of India's most reformative leaders, somebody who's had much credit to him for liberalizing the Indian economy. A two-time Prime Minister, Finance Minister, somebody who's held the highest of government positions, from being the Chief Economic Advisor to the Governor of RBI, the Head of Planning Commission. He really pioneered economic reforms in India, and somebody who's left an indelible impact on governance and politics, somebody who is respected and revered across the political spectrum. Today, of course, there is much consensus that former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was somebody who had great democratic spirit and an economic acumen that few can match. Well, condolences and tributes are pouring in, not just from India, but from across the world, remembering Dr. Manmohan Singh for the visionary statesman that he was. One thing that even his worst critics and naysayers have agreed to is that his democratic spirit was unwavering, and there was a kind of statesmanship that few other political leaders of his time would have displayed. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also paid a tribute to Dr. Manmohan Singh, saying that his contribution to lives was extensive. Leader of Opposition and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi said that we've lost a visionary leader, also somebody who was a mentor and guide, not just to him, but indeed the entire Congress party. Last night at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, you had his family by his side, of course, and also top Congress leaders, including Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge, of course, who's now come back to Delhi. A state funeral would be accorded to Dr. Manmohan Singh, and a 7-day national mourning would also be declared. All scheduled government business, government meetings stand cancelled as well. The cabinet will be meeting at 11 a.m. today. Remember, he breathed his last at 9:51 p.m. last night.
I honestly believe that history will be kinder to me than the contemporary media or for that matter, the opposition parties in parliament.
Famous words from Dr. Manmohan Singh at the last major press interaction in 2014, before the general elections. The man who served as Prime Minister for 10 years had a huge impact on modern India. Born in Gah, now in Pakistan, Dr. Singh's family migrated to India during partition in 1947. After obtaining his doctorate in economics from Oxford, Dr. Singh first worked for the United Nations in the 1960s. In the 1970s, he began a long career in the bureaucracy, including as RBI Governor, Chief Economic Advisor, and Vice Chairman of the Planning Commission. But his first big moment came during the economic crisis of 1991, when he served as the Finance Minister under Prime Minister Narasimha Rao. Dr. Singh carried out the most comprehensive reforms India has seen by opening up the economy through liberalization. In 2004, the Congress emerged as the single largest party in a shock general election that saw the unexpected defeat of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. There was a clamor for Sonia Gandhi to take over as Prime Minister of a Congress-led coalition, but Mrs. Gandhi struggled with the decision for days. A week later, she surprised everyone when she announced that Dr. Manmohan Singh would be her choice for Prime Minister.
I'm very happy. I think our country will be safe in Dr. Manmohan Singh's hands.
And so the UPA was born, with coalition partners from the Congress as disparate as the DMK from Tamil Nadu to the CPI and the CPM, with whom the Prime Minister would share a rocky relationship. That coalition was first tested after the India-US nuclear deal of 2005. It was a landmark agreement made by Dr. Singh and then US President George W. Bush. India, which has faced international pressure to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, or the NPT, after its nuclear tests in 1974 and 1998, was now on its way towards joining the global nuclear club.
Civilian nuclear energy has a greater role in meeting global energy demands.
His first term was also marked with the passage of key laws, like the Right to Information, Rural Health Mission, and Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. But there was also whispers about who was really in charge. Sonia Gandhi had taken over head of the NAC, a body called the National Advisory Council, and critics said she was the one actually calling the shots. In his first term, diplomatic ties with the United States were strengthened, as were ties with Europe, Japan, and Iran. Dr. Singh got on famously with George W. Bush and Barack Obama. He was well respected on the global stage. Ties with Pakistan also improved for some years. Back-channel talks almost paved the way for movement forward on Kashmir. The famous Manmohan Musharraf four-step formula, which would have made boundaries irrelevant and enabled more contact across the LOC. However, the 26/11 Mumbai attacks in 2008 completely changed the trajectory. The UPA came back with a bigger mandate, with Dr. Manmohan Singh advertised as the Congress's face for Prime Minister. India had given Dr. Singh a big thumbs up, but the second term was nothing like the first. Allegations surfaced of large-scale corruption in the Commonwealth Games, on coal block allocations, and most famously, the 2G scam, which a court years later has upheld never happened. The appeals are pending. The opposition accused Dr. Singh of not speaking up, of being a mute spectator to rampant corruption.
और आज पुनः इस गंभीर विषय पर प्रधानमंत्री सदन में आकर एक वक्तव्य करें।
The Nirbhaya gang rape of December 2012, the poor handling of the protests and the public anger was another low point for Dr. Singh's prime ministership.
My opinion on the ordinance is that it should be torn up and thrown away.
Dr. Singh may not have been the most eloquent prime minister, but he had his moments, like this parliament debate with Sushma Swaraj in 2013, where both invoked poetry to make the point. One of the most memorable exchanges on the floor of the House.
हमको है उनसे वफा की उम्मीद जो जानते नहीं वफा क्या है।
कुछ तो मजबूरियां रही होंगी, यूं ही कोई बेवफा नहीं होता।
After Narendra Modi's big win in 2014, Dr. Manmohan Singh played the role of the opposition's conscience keeper, cautioning the government on the economy, demonetization, and other crucial issues.
Scheme of monetization, the way it is been implemented, will hurt agricultural growth in our country, will hurt small industry, will hurt all those people who are in the informal sectors of the economy.
As his health deteriorated, Dr. Singh was rarely seen in public. His last political appearance was during a no-trust vote in Rajya Sabha in 2023, when he was brought in on a wheelchair. Manmohan Singh was never a typical politician for a man who was often called an accidental prime minister. Dr. Singh was at the helm for 10 long years, a tenure that left a lasting impact.
So a long career and a legacy that lives on, serving the highest of government positions, of course being a two-time Prime Minister, Finance Minister, and many more government positions. He's redefined statesmanship and how political leaders lead from the front. As you saw in that report as well, he may not have been the most eloquent Prime Minister, but as he said multiple times, history will remember him much kindly as the media and the opposition. Though of course he has faced some criticism over his lack of accountability over the years as a Prime Minister. But what we must remember today is his absolutely remarkable statesmanship and democratic spirit and belief in constitution. Let's take a look at some more reactions that have come in from leaders that have worked closely with him in his years as Prime Minister.
Well, it's a great national loss. I'm personally deeply saddened. He was a man of rare combination of intellect and integrity. Working with him as his cabinet minister, earlier in foreign affairs and later as India's economy minister, was a humbling experience, a learning experience. He was, for me, not just a prime minister, he was my guru. He was a teacher. He was a guide. He was a man of few words, but deeply committed to India, its future. A man of compassion, who felt for the poor, who felt for the unempowered Indians. Don't forget that he came to India after the partition as a refugee. He was a self-made man. He talked less but delivered far more, and history will respect. I am aware of his steely resolve, his strength.
As Prime Minister, I had the privilege personally of hosting prime ministerial visits when I was ambassador in Geneva, later in Brazil, and finally in New York. Again, when I returned to Delhi in between as Secretary Economic Relations. So I must say that Dr. Manmohan Singh's contribution to the country will be remembered in very positive terms. His contribution not only to the economy, but his stewardship at a difficult time, and the loss will be personally felt by all those who came in touch with him. He was a person who gave humility and a sense of professional purpose, an entirely new meaning. And our heartfelt condolences to Gursharan ji and their daughters. And I think that the outpourings of grief which are coming in from different parts of India, these are a testimony to his many qualities of head and heart, of leadership, and he will be long remembered for his contribution.
It's a very deeply emotional moment for me. I know he was ill, and I know that he was not active, but I thought he will live for a few more years at least. As I am able to recall the life and work of Dr. Manmohan Singh and the period from 1991 till 2014 will be a golden chapter in the history of India. I worked closely with him for many years. I have not met a person more humble and self-effacing than Dr. Singh. He wore his scholarship lightly and never claimed the credit for any of his historic achievements. In fact, the story of India turned after Dr. Manmohan Singh became finance minister. And the present middle class of India was virtually the creation of his policies as finance minister and prime minister. I can recount countless incidents. We had genuine empathy for the poor, and while his policies were liberal and progressive, he never forgot the poor.
Welcome back. India mourns the loss of one of its most remarkable and transformative leaders, the man who really transformed Indian politics, brought incredible stewardship, and at the same time remained impressively humble and self-effacing and unassuming through his long career, not just as Prime Minister, but Finance Minister, and earlier in the highest of government positions as well. Man with remarkable economic acumen, and also, as I said, somebody who was a global statesman. For the Congress, he was a conscience keeper. In fact, reactions have been coming in, tributes, condolences, not just from the Congress party, but across the political spectrum, that shows the kind of respect Dr. Manmohan Singh commands. Let me bring in my colleague Shreya Ghosh as well, who's joining us from outside the Congress headquarters. Shreya, as I mentioned, for the Congress, Dr. Manmohan Singh, even in his period of great illness, was a conscience keeper, somebody who advised the Congress president and also Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi on the constitution, on democratic spirit. I think that was something that was really the essence of Dr. Manmohan Singh. The Congress party, in fact, K.C. Venugopal had said that the last rites are likely to be held tomorrow, but what are we picking up?
Well, definitely, Vedant, Dr. Manmohan Singh has left behind incredible political and economic legacy. But as a young Indian myself, I personally read his daughter's book called The Strictly Personal, which is based on his life journey, and it has been incredibly inspiring as to how he grew from extreme poverty to reaching such great heights only through mere educational qualifications. And it is incredibly inspiring for young people in today's day and age how he has rose through the ranks with his sheer relentless pursuit. And of course, we have seen that today, in fact, after his demise, as a mark of respect, a national mourning period has been declared for the next 7 days. And today, in fact, we will see at around 11 o'clock, Union Cabinet will be meeting to perform the last rites with full state honors of Dr. Manmohan Singh, who has been India's 14th Prime Minister, and he has been the only Prime Minister who served 2 tenures from 2004 to 2014 without winning an election. And he derived a huge respect from across political spectrums. In fact, PM Modi has said that he has been a distinguished leader. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi said that he lost his own mentor, and of course we know that he was 92. He was going through age-related illnesses, and yesterday he lost his consciousness at his home, and then he was brought to the medical emergency at AIIMS Delhi. And of course the doctors couldn't revive him, and thereon we have seen heartfelt condolences being offered to him. Today, in fact, outside the residence of Manmohan Singh, we have seen strict police barricading. Several leaders have already arrived, and the final rites will be performed today at around 11 o'clock. The Union Cabinet will be meeting, and all the government programs have been cancelled because a national mourning period has been declared for the next 7 days. Back to you.
All right, Shreya, thanks very much for joining us with all those details there. A national mourning of 7 days has been declared. All government business stands cancelled. As I was saying earlier as well, he is somebody who is respected across ideologies, across the political spectrum, and not just the Congress party. A huge loss and a huge void, certainly. One of India's most remarkable politicians. That will slip into a short break now, but lots more coming up on the other side.